Hey guys, we're back with topic 2.2, part 2, the Mongols and Islam. All right, so let's talk real quick about Mongol rivalry and some things that went wrong. So we have the formation of the Ilkhan and the Golden Horde. And in the 1260s, the Ilkhan Mongol Empire controlled parts of Armenia and all of Azerbaijan, Mesopotamia, and Iran. And relations between the Buddhist Ilkhan Mongols and their Muslim subjects were a little bit tense. And the reason for that is the Mongols destroyed the walled city of Baghdad, the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate. And along with that, they murdered the last Abbasid Caliph. And because Mongol religious beliefs and customs were contrary to those of Islam, there were some unrest and a few uprisings. But by the end of the 13th century, Islam would reemerge as a very powerful force within the Mongol domains. At the same time, Russia fell under control of the Golden Horde, led by Chinggis Khan's grandson, Batu. And Batu would actually convert to Islam and then announce his intention to avenge the last caliph. So this is the first conflict between Mongol domains. And so basically you have the Islamic Golden Horde against the Buddhist Ilkhan. So during this conflict, European leaders tried to make an alliance with the Ilkhan, and the goal was to drive Muslims out of Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine. In return, the Ilkhan sought European help to drive the Golden Horde out of the Caucasus. But these plans for an alliance never actually came to be because the Ilkhan ruler Ghazan converted to Islam in 1295. So let's talk about the Golden Horde. So the Golden Horde was ruled by the Khanate in 1240. And at the time, Russia was referred to as Kievan Rus. And after they defeated Kievan Rus, the Mongols of the Golden Horde made their capital at the mouth of the Volga. And this was also the end of the overland caravan route from Central Asia. From their capital, the Mongols ruled Russia from afar. They left the Orthodox Church in place. They used the Russian princes as their agents to rule. And in other Mongol realms, the main goal of the Golden Horde was to just extract as much tax revenue as possible from their subjects. So they're not directly ruling. Unlike the Yan dynasty, this is just pay your taxes, we'll leave you alone. And Prince Alexander of Novgorod had assisted the Mongols in their conquest of Russia. And as a result, the Mongols favored Novgorod and Moscow, which was ruled by Prince Alexander's brother. And the favor shown to these two cities, combined with the Mongol devastation of the Ukrainian countryside, caused the Russian population to shift from Kiev toward Novgorod and Moscow. And Moscow would emerge as the new center of Russian civilization. But many historians believe that the Mongol domination had an incredibly negative impact on Russia, bringing an economic depression and a cultural isolation. So other historians argue that the overtaxation of Russians under Mongol rule was the work of the Russian princes, and the Kievan state was already declining. Russia was also isolated by the Orthodox Church, and the structure of Russian government didn't change under Mongol rule. What's important to know, guys, is that the Renaissance never really came to Russia. And as a result, as parts of Western Europe are booming and developing and they're coming into contact with Russia, Russia was lagging behind culturally and technology because of the Mongol rule. So, Islam and the state, and now we're going back to the Ilkhan. So the goal of the Ilkhan state was to collect as much tax revenue as possible, which it did through a tax farming system. And again, this goal of just collecting as much tax revenue as they can is very similar to the Golden Horde. So in the short term, tax farming was able to deliver large amounts of grain, cash, and silk. But in the long term, overtaxation led to the increase in the price of grain, a shrinking tax base, and a severe economic crisis. So tax farming, guys, is You go out, you hire someone to collect taxes for you, but you're not going to pay them. How they're going to get paid is they're going to take extra money from these people. It doesn't work. It's not a good system. Attempts to end the economic crisis through tax reduction program, coupled with the introduction of paper money, didn't work. They failed to avert a depression that would actually last until 1349. Thus, the Il-Khan domains fragmented as Mongol nobles fought each other for diminishing resources, and the Mongols from the Golden Horde attacked and dismembered the Il-Khan Empire. As the Il-Khan of the Golden Horde declined in the 14th century, Timur, who was the last Central Asian conqueror, built the Chagatai Khanate in Central and Western Eurasia. Timur's descendants, the Timurids, would actually rule parts of Central and Western Asia for several generations. And his territory is here. All right, so culture and science. So in literature, the historian Giovanni wrote the first comprehensive account of the rise of the Mongols under Genghis Khan. And his work then inspired Rashid al-Din, who produced a history of the world that was published in a number of beautifully illustrated editions. And Rashid al-Din was actually a Jewish convert to Islam who served as an advisor to the Il-Khan ruler. And this is a great example of how cosmopolitan the Mongol world truly was. The Timurids would also support notable historians, including the Moroccan Ibn Khaldun. Muslims under Mongol rulership made great strides in astronomy, calendar making, and the prediction of eclipses. The innovations included the use of epicycles to explain the movement of the moon around the Earth, the invention of more precise astronomical instruments, and the collection of astronomical data from all parts of the Islamic world and China for predicting eclipses with greater accuracy. And some of this work would actually end up influencing, you know him, you love him, the astronomer Copernicus. In mathematics, Muslim scholars adapted the Indian numerical system. They devised the method for indicating decimal fractions, and they calculated the value of pi more accurately than had ever been done in classical times. Muslim advances in science, astronomy, and mathematics were then passed along to Europe, and they had a significant effect on the development of European science and mathematics. All right, guys, you know the drill. If you have any questions, send me an email. Otherwise, have a great night, y'all. Cheers!